Today's adventure takes us to Onarga, Illinois, here in central Illinois, and to Onarga Cemetery. Now, this cemetery has about 4,500 graves in it. It was established in 1858. However, there are some graves that are older than that. But I'm going to tell you the story of a man who literally changed history. A man by the name of Timothy Webster Jr., who was a detective in the Pinkerton Detective Agency, who foiled a plot to murder President Abraham Lincoln. And had President Abraham Lincoln been assassinated, history would have rewritten itself. And not only that, he was a spy for the Union during the Civil War. I'll tell you that story. And he is buried in this cemetery, and we'll show you his grave. So come join me as we explore Onarga Cemetery. Or how about Onarga Cemetery? We'll explore that instead. So come join me. Hello everybody, and welcome to a video. It has been a minute since I've created a video. The weather has been horrible. It has been raining almost constantly. Whenever I'm available to do a video, it's been raining. Today was really foggy this morning. It's cleared up a little bit now, and I thought, let's get out there. Let's explore a cemetery. It has been a long time since I've gotten out to explore a cemetery, so let's do this today. Today I'm in Onarga, Illinois, central Illinois, and I have a great story for you today. A story of a man who was a Civil War spy on the Union side, and we'll hopefully find his grave today. Here we have Sarah, wife of Peter Blake. Sarah died, it looks like about 1860-ish, and around there. And right away we come across one of the tallest monuments here in the cemetery. But before we get there, we have a couple of old tombstones here. Looks like Ben Gummings died 1881. Hard to tell his age. And then we have somebody, it looks like Benny, son of S.K. and S.F. Marston, died 1855, 1 year, 9 months. And that monument is still in pretty darn good shape. And here's the Marston obelisk right here. Ebenezer Marston, 1801 to 1862, and Sarah, his wife, 1802 to 1886. Now I wonder if they were the parents to Benny here. It says S.K. and S.F. and Ebenezer and Sarah. I don't think that's the parents to little Benny there. Looks like we have some sort of veteran here. Unfortunately, this is in very bad shape. I see December 21st, 1862, 22 years of age. And at the bottom there it says, can't really tell. Looks like E.L. something Harper. But we do see Grand Army of the Republic, the GAR, 1861 to 1865, so definitely Civil War. And it looks like here it says Drew Harper. That's what it looks like. Civil War veteran. Unfortunately, his tombstone is broken and should be replaced to honor that Civil War veteran. It's turning out to be a very nice day. I woke up this morning and it was very foggy. I'm talking quarter-mile visibility. I did not think it was good to be driving over an hour to get to this location in fog, so I waited it out, and I'm happy I did. Here's Crawford. It's the name, wife of John Fargo, died 1870. And we have a doctor here, Dr. Crawford, December 5th, 1862. Age of 30 years old for that doc. Feels so good to get back out here again. Here's a couple older ones. Gordon Baldwin died March 7th, 1864, it looks like, in his 60s. And then his wife, Harriet, she died 1871. Again, hard to see the age on that. And then we have a third one that's very similar. Julius Baldwin died in October 1861, age of, looks like 30 for Julius. This is very interesting. This tombstone is turned about 45 degrees. It has turned on its base. How a tombstone turns is beyond me. It should be lined up in this direction here, and it's turned almost exactly 45 degrees. Very, very strange. Beautiful tombstone there. Eugene Lockwood is the name. Born 1851, died 1932. And Mary, his wife, she was born 1854 and died 1930. What do we have on this side? Jarius M. Mears, born 1825 to 1910. And Lydia, his wife, 1832 to 1906. So in this case, both husbands outlived their wives, which is unusual. And here's an infant, Freddie, born 1884 in May, died in September 1884. This is in really great shape. And Vernie, 1885 to 1891. So they lost two boys, Freddie and Vernie. It's a shame. And we have Henry. He died 1872, aged, looks like Henry was 3. And Charlie died 1860. There, so that tombstone has a lot of information. Here we come across a Civil War soldier with a wreath. It is around the holidays, and they usually place wreaths on soldiers' graves. Company D, 113th Illinois Infantry, thank you for your service. And that's going to lead me into my story of Timothy Webster, who will hopefully find his grave in a minute. But before that, here we have a vault, classic vault, 1867. I see these a lot in older cemeteries. During the winter when the ground was hard, you can't put a person in the ground, so they'd put them in a vault, such as this. Keep the body in there, and then when the springtime came and the ground thawed, they were able to bury the person at that time. And that is what this is. It's not a mausoleum. Probably used as a shed now, but it was a vault for bodies. And it's still in really good condition for its age. I'm sure that roof is newer. All right, let's talk about Timothy Webster here for a minute as we come up on what looks to be his grave. And looks like there's a story on the tombstone itself, so we can go ahead and read that. Look at this. Pinkerton's National Detective Agency, we never sleep, sacred to the memory of Timothy Webster, who was executed as a spy by the rebels in Richmond, Virginia, April 29th, 1862. After gallant service in the War of the Rebellion, he sealed his fidelity and devotion to his country with his blood. And he certainly did. He certainly did a lot. See if there's anything on the back. Oh, good. More of his stories on the back. Timothy Webster, the patriot and martyr. Born 1822, New Haven, easy for me to say. Let's try that again. New Haven, Sussex County, England. Immigrated 1833. Joined Pinkerton's Detective Agency at Chicago in 1856. On February 22nd, 1861, Webster, Allan Pinkerton, and Kate Warren safely escorted Abraham Lincoln after a conspiracy was discovered for his assassination. Webster is honored among pioneers of the private security and investigative industry in America. Let the memory of his life and death serve as a benchmark among professionals dedicated to the protection of others. Webster was one of the first professionals to pay for that dedication with his life. All right, a little more to expand on his story a little bit. So, he learned of a plot by a Southern secessionist group, the Sons of Liberty, to assassinate President Lincoln while changing trains in Baltimore, Maryland. He quickly alerted Pinkerton, who managed to sneak Lincoln through Baltimore on a different train, thus brought Lincoln safely to Washington, D.C. without incident. Amazing. And here he is buried in central Illinois, where really nobody around here probably even knows he's here or what he did. So a little bit more on him. Webster became friends with Confederate Secretary of War Judah Benjamin, who recruited him to be a carrier for the Confederate secret line between Washington, Baltimore, and Richmond. Hence, he had duped the Confederacy hierarchy. Becoming a double agent, he alerted Pinkerton of every message carried for the Confederacy. In February, after sleeping on cold ground a few nights, Webster fell ill with inflammatory rheumatism and was unable to continue his courier service. Concerned, but using poor judgment, Pinkerton sent two other agents, John Scully and Price Lewis, to Richmond to see what had become of him. Both were recognized locals as Pinkerton's Union spies, arrested and sentenced to death by hanging. During a confession to a Catholic priest, Scully somehow exposed Webster as a Union spy. After being arrested, a Confederate court-martial found Webster guilty of being a spy and was sentenced to death by hanging. Scully and Lewis made statements at Webster's Confederate court-martial. Their statements were lost during the war, and they were released in a spy exchange 19 months later. Timothy Webster would be the first person executed during the Civil War for acts of espionage. This was unusual, as a spy exchange between Union and Confederate forces was usually arranged. President Lincoln and Allan Pinkerton did everything they could but could not prevent Webster's execution, as the Confederacy hierarchy wanted revenge. On April 28, 1862, as he saw his coffin waiting for his body, he was led to the gallows at Camp Lee in Richmond. Before his death, Webster asked the minister to read from the Bible one of David's Psalms that called upon God to destroy his enemies in the most horrible ways. The minister refused. The first attempt to hang him failed. When the trapdoor was released, there was a problem with the rope causing the knot to slip and Webster falling to the ground. Upon the second hanging attempt, Webster was reported to have said, "I suffer a double death." Originally buried in Richmond, after the war, his body was transported here, and here is where Timothy Webster lies. And if you look next to his tombstone, there's another one, and it says Timothy Webster twice, which might seem confusing. However, Timothy Webster had a son who was wounded at the Battle of Ripley in June of 1864, and he died in Confederate prison that same year in July. So both Timothy Webster and his son are buried here in this rural central Illinois town. What a beautiful view here from central Illinois. And here's a beautiful monument. Possibly a zincy monument made out of zinc. Let's see. M. Tamerman and Sons. Look at that. The angel up there. I mean, this is the most elaborate bronze or zinc monument I have ever seen. Got Nanny Ammerman, born in Clarks Hill, Indiana. Christmas Eve of 1865, died here in 1943. And then Melvin, born also in Indiana in 1861, died here in 1925. And that is just remarkable. I have never seen a zincy with such immense detail. What a great monument that is. It says "and Sons" there, but I don't see anything for sons. I do see, what is this? Well, there's Melvin. And there's Nanny. I'm assuming that perhaps maybe the sons ended up being buried someplace else. And here's 3 links, which I believe is a symbol for the International Order of Oddfellows. What a fantastic monument. As we take a look at this monument, now this obelisk might be the tallest one in the cemetery. As a matter of fact, I am saying it is the tallest one in the cemetery. Standing close to 20 feet tall. Ezra Durham and Georgiana Babcock, his wife. And we see the Durham family here. Hoffman, Georgiana Babcock Durham, and Ezra Daniel Durham. That is a fantastic monument, especially for being out here in the middle of the farm fields in central Illinois. Very, very nice. Next to that, this one's really, really intact. F.W. Yaumans. It says, "Our Fred, born April 21st, 1851, died January 16th, 1876. Son of James and can't really read that name, James and S something, Yaumans. Very good condition, which I'm surprised being that it's so old. Another one here, Albert, I'm going to say the name is on that one. Redfield, it looks like. Son of James. Looks like 1855 or 65. It appears to be 19 years of age. Remarkable. All these are in really great condition, guys. This is wonderful. Usually I have a hard time reading most of these. See the handshake, final curtain, and the Bible. Joshua Evans, and he died, it looks like 1868. Tombstone is not on its base. If that is its base, I don't know, but it is not there. And like I see in many of these cemeteries, a lot of soldiers, a lot of Civil War soldiers. Here's Joe Fickle, 113th Illinois Infantry, Company D, Lieutenant. Thank you for your service. Let's see what we have over here. As you can tell, it's summertime, or not summertime, it's winter time, the opposite of summertime. And you can see my shadow elongated here on the ground. It is mid-afternoon, but the sun is so low in the sky to the south, it does cast a long shadow. Here we have a finger or a hand holding a rose. Kitty is the name. Wife of F.J. Can't really read that. And the age is a little hard to read as well. And here's John Pierce, 1871, died at 52. And here's the wife of John Pierce. It looks like it might be Sarah, maybe. Hard to tell. It seems like S-A-H something. We have Mary here, wife of Frederick somebody or other. As I say, these are all great to read, and then suddenly I can't read them. And here's Father Frederick Felker, 1834 to 1907, 72. This one is in great shape. Freemasons symbology there at the top. And here's Frederick Felker's wife. As we see the finger pointing up. And we have Mary Jane, the daughter of Frederick and Mahala Felker. Died something 76 maybe. That's what it looks like to me anyways. We've got Anne, the wife of Frederick Fish, born 1808, died 1892. Great condition. Here's Frederick Fish. He died 1875. Doesn't say, it says his age though was 75, so he was born in 1800 or thereabouts. Here's Edward Pierce, born 1855, died 1922. And this one over here has really caught my eye. Another Zinke, guys. This is this one might be just as nice as that last one I saw. Look at this. We've got, I don't think that's an angel, it's just a figure that is holding the Bible in the left hand and pointing up in the right hand. And Pearson is the name. Reverend Abraham Pearson from Yorkshire, England. 1639, founded Newark, New Jersey, 1667, also founder and pastor of the First Presbyterian Church at that place. Died 1678. I'm a little confused here, guys. And my confusion is the fact that nobody this old should be here. Reverend Abraham Pearson Jr., taken from his statue on Yale campus, first president of Yale College, 1701 to 1707, died 1707. Pioneers weren't here until the 1800s, so I'm guessing they're not buried here. William Porter Pearson, born at Leroy, New York, December 8th, 1811, died Onarga, Illinois, which is here, in 1909. And Mary, his wife, died in 1890 here. So this must be William's ancestry. It says here genealogy. Here's genealogy 3. So this is pretty neat. There's a lot of history here. I mean, this goes back to the 1600s. I really like that, how it has a genealogy on the tombstones. That's really neat. Boy, for some reason, I'm really having trouble keeping my audio cord plugged in. It keeps on coming unplugged for some reason, and this might be a silent video. I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully everyone's able to hear my voice, my wonderful voice, without much difficulty, as I wanted to check out this massive monument to the Mathiasen family. And we have Cora Mathiasen. We have, in loving memory of Peter, down there. I mean, that is one heavy stone. Hansen name here. Nothing inscribed here. Nor is there anything inscribed up there. Ralph Hansen here, born in New York. And Catherine Hansen, also born in New York, died 1892. So we hear the sound of emergency vehicles. Hopefully you hear the sound of emergency vehicles in the background. I'm hoping my audio is working. Here's Fanny, the handshake, and Johnson, Crozier, children of Christopher and Catherine. One died at 19 years old in 1876, and the other died at 20 years old. It looks like 1874. I don't know. Somewhere around there. Here we have James Colbank. Beautiful monument here. As I'm listening to the emergency vehicles, the sound of the emergency vehicles getting louder and louder. And it's a single ambulance making that racket. Hopefully not a upcoming resident of the cemetery, let's hope. James Colbank died 1875. Beautiful monument to him. See if we can see anything on this one. Harriet, it looks like Marsh, wife of John Thompson, died 1870 at 18 years of age. No, 48 years of age it looks like. Great monument. And here's Reverend John Thompson, died 1872 at 61 years of age. And then Hacienda Marsh, wife of John Locks, died 1880 at 65 years old. Okay guys, it felt really good to get out here today. I'm hoping my audio is working and you're not just seeing my mouth move. What a wonderful cemetery, a lot of history here. Civil War spy, that is amazing to me. Hero, saved President Lincoln from assassination. And here he sits pretty much unrecognized in this rural cemetery here in central Illinois. And this is why I do this stuff, to tell you these stories. Because, you know, it's history. It's something significant. Had Lincoln been assassinated and he had not foiled Lincoln's assassination plan, history would have been rewritten, literally. So this is why I do these things. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great and happy new year. And I wish everyone the best of health in 2024. And keep exploring.